lot of the newfound energy in the Democratic Party is due to Gen Z voters who have seemingly been re-energized by Kamala Harris's presidential run. To discuss, we're joined by Jessica Siles with Gen Z group Voters of Tomorrow. Thank you for joining us, Jessica.
Thanks so much for having me.
What about Harris and her campaign appeals to Gen Z voters, especially compared to Biden?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen clearly the online buzz and, just the enthusiasm that young voters have had in the last just few days alone. And I think what it is Vice President Harris is not afraid to join in on the fun, join in on the laugh. And she also, I think, is a candidate that a lot of us can really see ourselves in. She would obviously be the first woman president, the first Asian woman president, the first Black president, second Black president. And so I think that representation really matters to a lot of people. It's something that we're really excited about and, just super energized around. In addition to the Biden-Harris accomplishments, Kamala also led a long career, a trailblazing career before the Biden administration, where she was an early co-sponsor of the Green New Deal in the Senate, where she, implemented climate policy where she could in California. She has her own record that also just reiterates that commitment that is very exciting for young people.
Harris has more celebrity endorsements than I've seen in politics recently. How much sway do pop stars like Charli XCX, Kesha, and Katy Perry have on elections?
I think what celebrity endorsements does a good job of is getting initial attention to candidates. Young people potentially are hearing about some of Vice President Harris's accomplishments for the first time through some of their favorite artists. But I think what's more important is some of the actual policy accomplishments that Vice President Harris has had. And so I think that because there's an initial buzz, but also this serious follow-up, that we can see she's aligned with Gen Z voters on all of our top issues, like reproductive rights, bold climate action. She's been an advocate for all of those things. And so I think the pair of those two things are very important.
Okay, what does it mean when Charli XCX says Kamala is Brat?
Yeah, I love this question and this conversation. I think what Brat really means is just about being authentic and being able to unapologetically be confident in all the different sides of yourself. So as I mentioned, I think Kamala Harris has really leaned in to some of these jokes and joined us in on the laugh and has been not afraid to show us a playful side, an authentic side of her personality, while also being a global leader and a serious policymaker that has made a lot of change. So I think leaning into the different sides of yourself and being super authentic is something really refreshing to young voters.
How is this different from times in like the 2016 election when Hillary Clinton made pop culture references?
I think that this is so different. We are in such a different time. I mean, TikTok wasn't really around back in 2016. So some of these online trends I don't think are super comparable, but more than that, we have now seen what a Donald Trump presidency actually means for young people, and it was scary. We actually had Roe v. Wade overturned. We actually saw 100 different regulations and rules rolled back that were supposed to protect our environment. We know exactly what a second term would look like through things like Project 2025. So I think the stakes are just that much higher as well. And so I think that makes the playing field totally different and that contrast just even more clear for young voters.
So Jessica, momentum at rallies and online is one thing, but do you think enough young voters will turn out to the polls to sway this election?
Absolutely. I think more than just turning out to the polls, our organization in the last just few days alone have seen record amounts of applications to join our chapter network and to join us. We've seen floods of young people registering to vote. We've seen first-time donors donate to their first campaign or donate to organizations like ours. The online buzz has already directly translated into political action. So I'm extremely confident that that is going to turn into votes on this November as well.
Thanks so much for chatting, Jessica.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks for having me.